Not a cloud in the sky as we welcome you back to Jersey. 44 degrees, cool and crisp. The New York Giants have won the toss and they will receive Jack Del Rio. 11 years as a player in the NFL, 14 years as a coach, his 8th as the head man in Jacksonville. Deep for the Giants is number 28, Danny Ware. Both these teams 6-4. Jaguars winners of 3 straight. Giants losers of 2 straight. And we're underway. Ware lets it bounce once and will not run it out. So the Giants will begin from their own 20-yard line, and that means Eli Manning will take the field and get first crack at the scoreboard. Eli, plenty of touchdown passes on the season, 21 of them, plenty of interceptions too at 16. He's thrown for just under 2,600 yards this season. Brandon Jacobs in the starting lineup. Behind Manning on first down, and he will play fake it and throw it to the near side, and that is complete and out of bounds at the 35-yard line to Derek Hagan. Giants offensive line has been ravaged by injuries. Second-year man Will Beatty starts at left tackle today for injured Sean Andrews. And the backs and the receivers, Ahmad Bradshaw has shown a propensity for putting the ball on the ground. Brandon Jacobs, as we mentioned, starts for the first time this season. And there is Ahmad Bradshaw on the sideline.
It's not like he's not going to play today. He'll probably get somewhere, I would think, somewhere 10, 12 carries or something like that. They've just switched roles.
On first down, Jacobs running room right up the middle. First down yardage across the 45.
Boy, now that was great blocking. What a hole over left guard for Brandon Jacobs. Take a look at how they split this 4-3 defense, and there's a nice block at the point of attack. And that is an illustration, good positive yardage for the Giants. But with that hole, Bradshaw might have taken that a lot farther than Brandon Jacobs did, who kind of lost his balance and went down. That could have been a very big play for the Giants if 44 was carrying the football.
First down, Giants at their own 46. Jacobs for a couple to about the 48. Let's check Jacksonville's 4-3 defense. Plenty of youth up front. Third-year defensive end Jeremy Mincey had a 2-sack effort against Cleveland last week. The linebackers on the outside, Darryl Smith, 2 tackles shy from becoming the Jaguars' all-time leader in tackles. And the veteran in the secondary is cornerback Rashean Mathis, who arrived with head coach Jack Del Rio. 29 career interceptions under his belt. There's Mincey. And Bradshaw into the backfield on 2nd and 8. Manning, near side of the field. And that catch is made and out of bounds at the 35, Mario Manningham.
Well, Manningham that time is working against Rashean Mathis, and boy, does he spin him around. Take a look at Manningham. Look at the stem on that route as he really sells the fact that he's going to go on a go pattern, and he breaks it off. And when he broke it off, Mathis not able to react at all. That was an outstanding route by Mario Manningham. He really sold it.
Brandon Jacobs back into the backfield. On first down, Jacobs straight ahead. Big hole again to the 23. The New York Giants, the only team in the NFL which has failed to produce points on its opening drive this season, trying to rectify that here.
Well, again, what outstanding blocking. This time they're going to go to the right side and take a look at some of that work inside there. Kevin Boss gets an outstanding job coming around the corner. There's Kevin Booth and McKenzie with the down block. That is a crease. That is an out.
There should be a toll booth there.
No kidding. There is everywhere else around here.
First down at the 23 of the Jaguars. Jacobs to the 21. Mincey with the stop there.
Well, this offensive line of the Giants has really come out and done some fine blocking here on their opening series. But take a look at their opening drives this year. 5 turnovers and 5 punts. That's pretty miserable.
Meanwhile, on offense on this drive alone, the Giants with gains of 15, 11, 17, and 12 yards. Bradshaw in the backfield on 2nd and 8. And that's Bradshaw in motion to the top of your screen. Bradshaw with the pass. Cuts it inside the 15 to about the 11.
Oh, did you see Rich Seibert out in front of that thing? Oh, I tell you, an offensive lineman loves to get out in space like that because you get a good shot at a smaller guy. Seibert, the center, gets out in front, and he's going to come in right there, and he just lowers it on Cox, the corner. That's when it's fun. And the offensive line of the Giants, man, process of catching it, because there's no question that he turns upfield and that he's going to head for the goal line. There's the catch at about the 6. It's definitely worth a challenge. You know, this is all going to go to Terry McAulay and what he deems a long enough possession by Derek Hagan. It's all about now what's called finishing the process.
Keeping in mind the call on the field is a completion and a fumble.
Yes, it is. I mean, when I looked at it live and I look at it again, it looks to me like he secured the football and then went on about his business of trying to gain yardage.
Courtney Green made the hit, but because for the Jaguars,
because of the position on the field, I think this is a worthwhile challenge by Tom Coughlin. This is worth a timeout on the off chance that you might get Terry McAulay to give you the football.
If this call holds, it's the 31st turnover for the Giants, the most in the National Football League.
I saw him before.
Again,
and it took Tom Coughlin a while to make up his mind whether to challenge this or not.
It was a reluctant throw, it looked like to me. He didn't throw it until the very last minute. He really did throw it maybe a second or two before we came out of that commercial break. But I think this could go either way. When the ruling on the field, when you got to overturn it, McAulay has to see something very conclusive to overturn that.
When you say it can go either way, that tells me that the advantage goes to the call made initially on the field.
There's no doubt about it. He has got to see very decisive proof that Hagan did not secure that football and start to do something else, complete the process.
Boy, the conversation, not just this week, but much of this season has been about the turnovers that the Giants have been committing, and here in the red zone, they cough it up.
Now, if they're under there for a long, long time and they're talking, they might be talking about where to spot the football if they do rule it an incomplete pass. Because he's no longer looking under the hood. This is taking quite a while.
Well, he's made his decision. Terry McAulay.
After review, the ball was knocked loose as the second step was coming down. It is an incomplete pass. It was second down.
And Tom Coughlin is one happy guy.
To 10:32. 10:32.
And Jack Del Rio's taking it pretty well. Again, that was so close. And you heard Terry McAulay's explanation. As the second step was coming down is when the ball gets knocked loose. Obviously, in Terry McAulay's mind, the second step is the conclusion of the process. I know everybody in Jacksonville is going good call. I mean, everyone in Jacksonville is going bad call, and everyone in New York is going good call, but again, that was microscopically close.
2nd and 10 from the 11. Jacobs straight ahead. 3-yard line. Brandon Jacobs, 6'4", 265 pounds.
And the Giants feed in a lot of different ways. Even the defensive guys, from the physicality of Jacobs when he runs over people and how crushing a runner he can be. And that is what Tom Coughlin wants so desperately of Brandon Jacobs, is to return to that mauling running back that was here in 07 and 08. The guy that intimidated defensive guys.
Ahmad Bradshaw back into the lineup. 3rd and 2. Possible for the first down without a touchdown. Manning gives to Ahmad Bradshaw, and he's going to lose yardage. Tyson Alualu, the rookie, the first-round draft pick out of California. That's how you plug a hole.
Well, Jacksonville has long had strong defensive tackles. Remember when it was Marcus Stroud and John Henderson manning it in the middle, and now they've gone to the youth with Alualu and Terrence Knighton on the other side, just a second-year player.
So on 4th and 4, Lawrence Tynes comes on to attempt a field goal from 23 yards out. Not what they wanted, but for the first time this year, the New York Giants score on their opening drive. 9:06 to play in the first. 3-0 Giants.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by the new 2011 Ford F-150. Built Ford tough.
Welcome back, everyone. The New York Giants' successful challenge results in a field goal by Lawrence Tynes. The 11-play drive, 75 yards. And the Giants with a 3-0 lead, 9:06 to play in the first. And deep for Jacksonville is Deji Kareem. Takes the kick at the 7. And spins down at the 25-yard line. Dave Tollefson with the special teams tackle. David Garrard is the Jacksonville quarterback, a native of East Orange, New Jersey. 1 touchdown pass shy of his career high of 18 for a season that he set back in 2007.
The one thing David Garrard does is complete a lot of his passes, nearly a 68% completion percentage.
Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. Garrard going to throw it this side, and that is complete to Mike Sims Walker. The Jaguars' offensive line, anchored by center Brad Meester, along with Garrard, the only holdovers from the Tom Coughlin era in Jacksonville. And the man who makes the offense go, Maurice Jones-Drew, 3 straight 100-yard rushing games. His 878 rushing yards, 4th best in the NFL.
They are really pleased to have Sims Walker in the lineup with an ankle sprain. He did not play last week against Cleveland.
MJD runs into a brick wall at about the 33-yard line. A very tough New York Giants front four led by defensive end Justin Tuck, the Giants' leading tackler on the season. The linebackers, Bullock, Goff, and Michael Boley in his 6th season out of Southern Miss on the outside. And the secondary includes Antrell Roll. Tom Coughlin loves the way he's playing the free safety position for the New York Giants this season.
And remember what you just heard Greg say, the club's leading tackler. Extremely rare for a defensive lineman. That's a linebacker or safety job.
3rd and 2. The pitch to Jones-Drew. And he gets the first down across the 35 to about the 37. Antrell Roll made the stop. You know, we were talking with Justin Tuck yesterday, Dan. One of the things I asked him was, is it tough to find Maurice Jones-Drew at 5'7" behind those linemen? And he said, almost impossible.
That's exactly right. Again, listed at 5'7", and I'm not sure about that. 5'6", 6.5 might be more like it. And when you consider the size of the offensive lineman, look at the guys in front of him. That's a legitimate concern. You don't find him until he's at least at your level.
So he's by you. Little screen. Jones-Drew hit hard at about the 41-yard line. We get our first update of the day from James Brown in New York.
Hey, Greg, game-opening drive for the Redskins of nearly 8 minutes play action. Donovan McNabb hooking up with the tight end Fred Davis. That 10-yard pass puts the Skins up 7-0. Leslie Frazier with his debut of the interim coach tag. Greg and Dan.
Hey, JB, nice that you can get the focus off of the runway back there in the studio.
And I'm assuming Brad Childress is sitting at home watching that game on television.
2nd and 7. Jones Drew, big hole up the middle, across midfield to the 47 of the Giants, and a first down for Jacksonville. He had, in the win against Cleveland last week, 220 yards from scrimmage.
Well, let's look at this cutback here by Jones Drew. It's a very slight one. Actually, I wouldn't even call it. There's the cutback finally at the second level. Again, that was outstanding blocking by his offensive line. And there's Mercedes Lewis, the tight end, as he occupies Justin Tuck. But that was a huge hole on the left side.
Jones Drew, more yardage, 35, 30. Inside the 25-yard line, and yet another first down. Kenny Phillips brought him down. He is relentless.
Well, and again, look how quickly Jones Drew has passed the defensive line and into the second and third level of the Giants defense. Just a simple little trap play. Manawai gets a good trap, but wow, that is springing a guy on the linebackers in the secondary in a flash.
Maurice now comes out of the game and says he doesn't like being taken out of the game. And Jack Del Rio says, I kind of do it just to rile him up. Rashad Jennings in to replace him. Garrard, little pump fake, throwing for the end zone and overthrows his intended receiver, Mercedes Lewis.
Well, if I was getting blocking like that in front of me, I wouldn't want to come out of the game either. It's, you know, you'll take a little break when you've been stoned at the line of scrimmage 3 or 4 times in a row, but getting some nice creases like that, Jones Drew wants to be in on the action. The guy's never missed a game in his career because of injury. He's very, very durable.
He already has 40 yards on 4 carries here today. 2nd and 10. Jennings and Greg Jones in the backfield with Garrard. Jennings looking for room to run. Finds it. 15, 10, inside the 10 to the 5 and out of bounds.
Well, what a job of setting up and allowing your blockers to do their job before you accelerate. He gets a nice little kick-out block there. That's Guy Wimper, the left tackle, and he waits for that edge to get set, and then Jennings makes his move. Again, Manawai gets the pin down to the inside, Wimper with the kick-out. And this is a textbook on how to get your blocking done by the Jacksonville offensive line and tight end.
Under 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. 1st and goal for Jacksonville. Jennings changes direction, touchdown. Rashad Jennings, his first touchdown of the season, and Jacksonville grabs the lead.
And again, a complete change of direction, and you would think that the time it would take for Jennings to do this. Look, he comes almost a complete stop, comes back, shifts gears over to the right side, and yet there's no pursuit coming in to seal off this hole. Look at that hole on that side that just doesn't close. And Jennings, oftentimes he won't get away with that much of a delay, but he did.
Josh Scobie's extra point attempt is good. 4:44 to play, first quarter. Jacksonville, 75-yard drive. Rashad Jennings into the end zone. 7-3 Jaguars. Earlier today, the Giants had local youth from Nutley, New Jersey and Carlstadt, New Jersey lead them onto the field prior to this game. These Play 60 youth ambassadors participate year-round in the Giants' NFL Play 60 Challenge program.
I can't even imagine what it would be like to be that age and get to run onto the floor of this stadium alongside your hero. I know that would have been a little more than I'd have been able to handle.
Ware is deep. Taking on one hop at the 4. 20, big hole up the middle, 30, 35, and down to the 39-yard line. A fine return by DJ Ware. 4:37 to play. Terrific field position for Eli Manning and the Giants when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Prudential, the rock you can rely on to meet today's financial challenges. And by Zales, the Diamond Store.
Back at New Meadowlands Stadium, Josh Scobie trying to shake off a little ding. We'll show you why in just a moment. First down, Giants at the 39. Brandon Jacobs in the backfield and Eli Manning changing things up at the line of scrimmage. Play clock down to 3, down to 2. Got the snap off. The pass out here to the near side, and that is complete to Hagan. Let's go back to that kickoff return. This is a heck of a play by the kicker, Dan.
It really is, because there was a massive crease for Ware, but there's Scobie right in the middle of it. Look at him form up, square up, wrap up, and make the tackle. But what's significant here, and again, that is, hey, that's textbook, everybody. But what's significant is that Scobie was limping as he came to the sideline. He had about 3 or 4 members of the training staff attending to him, but he's saying he's okay. But anytime a kicker limps, it's significant.
It's not like they work on that every day. No. Brandon Jacob in the backfield. Manning down the middle of the field, and it's underthrown. Mario Manningham. Double covered down the middle.
Well, Jacksonville is going to do everything they can do to take Mario Manningham out of this football game. As you can see, Cox doesn't have the good coverage, and in reality, Green, the young safety, number 36, I think would have been late getting there if that ball would have had enough distance to get to Manningham. That could have been a big, big play.
Ware in the backfield on 3rd and 5. Manning pointing out potential blitzers. And we get movement up front. This will go against the Giants.
False start, offense number 89. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, the penalty is called against Kevin Boss, the tight end. Will Beatty, number 65, is also starting over there at left tackle, and he was on the move as well. Beatty, of course, is the 3rd guy up at left tackle now for the Giants. Sean Andrews, he's not able to go because of a bad back, and Sean Andrews was filling in for Dave Deal. He's got a hip hamstring problem, so
a revolving door at left tackle is not a good thing.
But Beatty was a 2nd-round draft pick last year. He was drafted to play left tackle. He's in there, ready or not.
Manning with time, throws. That's complete, but not for much yardage to Bradshaw out of the backfield, and that'll force the punt. Sean Considine, 60-year safety out of Iowa, made the stop.
These Jacksonville Jaguars, not spectacular, but they are fundamentally sound. They work hard. They wear pads twice a week. A lot of teams this time of year don't wear pads at all. They work hard, and they just rarely go away.
And have flown under the radar for much of this season. Mike Thomas deep for the kick. Thomas caught it and was decked. Michael Coe with the special teams play. David Garrard and Maurice Jones-Drew and company back on offense after this. Got a sports fan on your gift list? CBSSports.com shop has officially licensed NFL gear and get 3-day shipping on every order. Go to shop.cbssports.com. On 1st down, Garrard looks, throws over the middle, complete, out to the 25-yard line is the tight end Mercedes Lewis, who comes in leading this team in touchdowns with 8 on the season.
And if you were a quarterback, you'd like throwing to Mercedes Lewis as well. He is massive. He's every bit of 6'6", looks like he's 6'8", but they list him at 6'6". He's about 268 pounds, down from around 275 or upper 270s. He is an imposing tight end.
On 2nd and 1, Maurice Jones-Drew, 1st down and then some. Bouncing off of tackles across the 30, out to the 35-yard line. You know, if he were a regular-sized running back, he'd be impressive. It's even more so when you take his size into consideration.
Well, leverage is everything in football, but how do you get underneath this guy? Watch him lower this pad level right here. I mean, you'd have to be 18 inches off the ground to get up underneath there. Terrell Thomas certainly couldn't do it. You know, he is short, but he is mighty. But again, pad level, how do you get under that?
Weston Tuck says you have to gang tackle him. Garrard turning the corner and sliding down. And with that, we take another trip over to James Brown in New York.
Hey, Greg, just as Leslie Frazier told Charlie Casserly they would get back to the ground game, Adrian Peterson with a 5-yard TD run, his 4th consecutive season over 1,000 yards. Minnesota has tied it up with Washington, 7-all in the second. Greg and Dan.
You know, maybe it sounds too simplistic, but if I had Adrian Peterson on my backfield, I'd give him the football.
Over and over. By the way, everyone here in New York said it, so that's what a hook slide looks like.
2nd and 2. And Maurice Jones-Drew met by O.C. Umenyiora.
Well, Umenyiora and Justin Tuck have caused Jacksonville head coach Jack Del Rio a lot of sleepless nights this week because he's got tackle problems of his own. And when we were asking him how you plan on dealing with this too, he said, I wish I knew.
That was as honest a reply as we have heard from a head coach all season long. Can your tackles handle the rush coming off the edge? And he said, I don't know.
Well, you're looking at Guy Wimper right there, who 4 years was a member of the Giants. He's making his first start today. And George Black on the other side is a fill-in as well.
Gerard with time, throwing, and that is finally hauled in by Greg Jones. And he's brought down at about the 48-yard line by Michael Boley. And we're in the final half minute of play. You know, these Jacksonville Jaguars have rushed for 90 yards already today. As we wind down the first quarter, the Giants come in averaging, giving up 89.5 a game.
No, it's been a very productive quarter and of course an outstanding 75-yard drive that ended up in a touchdown. Good start for Jacksonville.
We come to the end of the first quarter with the score: Jacksonville 7 and the Giants 3. Back to the Meadowlands after this. This is the NFL on CBS. The MetLife blimp providing some spectacular aerial coverage today. Look for the MetLife blimps as they team up with CBS for more coverage this season. Spectacular, Dan.
Yes, sir.
There's some of the walking wounded for the New York Giants.
Sean O'Hara and Dave Deal, both of them sitting there talking to Kenzie.
2nd and 8 as we get the second quarter started. Gerard for Jones-Drew across midfield and into Giant territory at the 48-yard line.
You know, one of the things I wondered coming in here today, the Giants defensively invested so much emotional energy in that game against Philadelphia last week and containing Michael Vick and how they're able to pull it together here this afternoon. And, you know, this isn't Michael Vick. This isn't Jacksonville. It's not a high-profile offense. They can't afford any sort of a defensive letdown, and Jacksonville's been moving the ball pretty effectively.
On 3rd and 4, Gerard, short drop over the middle, and he's got Mike Sims Walker over the middle for a first down.
Well, this is a different offense when they have Mike Sims Walker on the field. A big receiver at 6'2", and as you can see right there, the nice soft hands. Boy, you like to look at a guy catch the football there without letting it get into his body. He just takes it an all-hands catch and then does something with it.
James and Jones in the backfield. First down, Jacksonville knocking on the door again. This is Rashad Jennings. And he's smacked down to the 28-yard line. You know, just a few moments ago, I saw Tom Coughlin trying to get the crowd involved. It reminds me, let's flash back 1 week ago where Rex Ryan was saying to the Jets fans, get your butts into the seats here and give us a hand.
And they responded, and of course the Jets responded by giving them a but I think right there, I think Tom is really trying to get his troops to raise their energy level. Right now there's no question Jacksonville appears more energetic than the guys in blue.
2nd and 2. This is Jennings looking for the first down. Has it inside the 25 to the 23. James Brown, busy man on an early Sunday afternoon. JB.
Oh, Greg. Hey, off a Rusty Smith pick, Greg. This 16-yard pass from Matt Schaub to Arian Foster was a key play that set up a 1-yard pass from Schaub to Joel Dreesen. Texans take a 7-0 lead over Tennessee, that in the second. Greg and Dan.
JB, with models in the studio, how hard can you guys be working?
If anybody is due for a win, it would be Houston.
Yeah. First down. Jacksonville at the Giant 23, Garrard to throw. Short pass doesn't fool anybody on the Giant defense. Mike Thomas made the catch, and he was dropped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, Mike Thomas there, he was the recipient of that errant batted ball by Houston that bounced right into his arms at the 1-yard line, where he just stepped into the end zone for the game winner against the Texans a couple weeks ago in a very improbable finish.
On 2nd and 2. Garrard lobs one on the side. That's complete inside the 10 to Mercedes Lewis.
Well, what a job by David Garrard, knowing he was going to take one right in the chops. Again, he delivers this ball. We talked about what a massive target Mercedes Lewis is, and you know, you're putting him out in space. He's actually like a wide receiver. But take a look at that. He's got Umanura coming right at him, and a smart play by Osi Umanura not to rough the quarterback.
1st and goal, Jaguars at the Giants 7. 12th play of this drive. Garrard rolling, throwing, and overthrows his receiver at the goal line, Mike Thomas.
I think that was a throw away. He was under pressure, and Thomas was covered, and he just flipped that one way out of bounds. Jack Del Rio has been the head coach of the Jaguars now for 8 years.
As long as Tom Coughlin was the head coach of the Jaguars.
He's had quite a run, and it's he's got another couple of years on his contract.
Right now he's enjoying a 7-minute, 7-second drive that's covered 82 yards. 2nd and goal. Jones drew. Left side. Stood up at the 7. It'll be 3rd and goal.
And right now a field goal attempt, if the defense can make a stand here on 3rd down, is really the best thing going for the Giants. And again, I'm sure Tom Coughlin is going to talk to his team about we're not matching their intensity. This would be a good down on which to start that emotional and energetic comeback.
First time this afternoon the Jaguars have attempted a rush and didn't gain yardage on it. 3rd and goal. Movement, and this will back the Jaguars up.
Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Vince Manuwai, the left guard, is guilty.
Well, I don't think Vince was all alone in that. There looked like a bunch of movement up front. There was some real confusion, I think, on the snap count.
So it'll now be 3rd and goal from the 12. Brandon Jacobs turns cheerleader on the sideline.
This should be a situation where the offense can't even hear themselves talk.
Garrard going to give it to Jones. Drew up the middle, inside the 5 to about the 4. And that'll set Jacksonville up for the field goal attempt from Josh Scobie.
And again, keep in mind, Scobie came limping off the field after making that tackle. This is going to be the first time he's had to do something after that perfect form tackle in the open field.
Is that one of those things where the coaches go, that was a really nice job, don't do that?
Well, no, they say you better do it. If he wouldn't have done it, that might have been a touchdown for Ware.
22-yard field goal attempt is good. 9 minutes, 11 seconds to play. Eli Manning with work to do. Giants are down by 7. Jack Del Rio's Jaguars up 10-3 with just over 9 minutes to play here in the first half. Jacksonville going 85 yards in 15 plays.
The only thing coaches love more than 15-play drives are 15-play drives that end in touchdowns instead of field goals.
This will be Ware from the 12. Spun down just short of the 25-yard line by Montel Owens. We'll take a break and come right back to New Meadowlands Stadium.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by the Droid Pro by Motorola. Finally, a work phone worth taking home.
Along with Dan Deerdorf, Craig Gumbel. Back at the new Meadowlands Stadium. Giants back on offense, trailing by a touchdown. Ahmad Bradshaw starts this series in the backfield and gets the handoff. Out to about the 27.5, middle 28-yard line. Gives us a moment. No matter where you are this holiday season, you can stay in the game all year long with the new NFL mobile apps. Search NFL Mobile on NFL.com.
Well, after their defense being out on the field for a 15-play drive, it would really behoove the Giants here to get at least a couple first downs on this drive and possess the ball for a while and give their defense a chance to gather.
This is Bradshaw, and Bradshaw breaking free at the 40, midfield, and out of bounds at the 45-yard line of the Jaguars. Don Carey pushed him out.
And that's what Ahmad Bradshaw brings to the dance. The ability to break a tackle and make a big play. That time pulling all the way over from right tackle, Kareem McKenzie gets a nice kick-out block right there, and then that's Bradshaw forcing the miss. And it puts Carey into nothing more than a chase position. And that's all he could do is push him out of bounds. But that was good blocking at the point of attack, and then it was all Bradshaw.
27-yard pickup. He gets a breather. Brandon Jacobs replaces him in the backfield. Manning, play fake, with time, far side of the field, wide open. Catch is made by Travis Beckham, the tight end.
Well, a really nicely designed play by Kevin Gilbride, because you're going to have the deep pattern that clears everything, and then Beckham's going to work underneath. Beckham, you see right there, Manningham going down the field. He draws the safety and the corner. Beckham fills the void, and Manning finds him for a pretty easy completion.
You won't hear a bad word said about Travis Beckham. The upside is almost limitless for him.
I asked Eli, is he going to become your Dallas Clark? And he said, well, that's lofty praise, but he's got a chance.
This is Bradshaw, left side, inside the 10, diving forward to the 8. So back-to-back plays, big plays, have the Giants in business. A 27-yarder and then 29. And now Bradshaw to the 8-yard line.
And again, they're hammering away on the left-hand side over here. Beatty, Booth. Boy, did they get a nice seal. Derek Hagan, even at the wide receiver position, gets in there and kind of sacrifices himself, but occupies a guy.
For the second straight carry, Ahmad Bradshaw starts off with 2 hands on the football. Do you think that's been a point of emphasis?
You think there's a message was received?
2nd and 2. Manning rolls, looking, throws, end zone, caught. We have a penalty flag down.
Holding, offense number 89. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And that's going to come right back because Kevin Voss is guilty of a hold.
Well, Terry McCauley might have set the officiating record for calling that penalty. He didn't want to let this crowd here have any false hope about Mario Manningham catching that touchdown pass. Manningham's going, what happened? I thought I had 6.
The call was being made and Mario was still on the ground.
It really was.
2nd and 13. Manning with time. Now Bradshaw out of the backfield. 15 to the 11. Courtney Green coming up from his safety position for the tackle.
Well, Eli had a bunch of guys down in the end zone, but they were all covered, and he went through his progression. And then you can see it. Looks like a switch, flips it over there and gets it to Bradshaw. And he does what he's supposed to do. He makes the first guy miss. You can see right there, Justin Durant had no shot. And Ahmad Bradshaw, again, if the ball can keep from being put down on the carpet, he is extremely elusive.
3rd and 5. Giants 0 for 2 on 3rd down today. Manning with time again. Now over the middle, and that's knocked down at the 6-yard line. pass is intended for Boss and Justin Durant, one of several to break it up.
Well, I'm surprised Eli Manning saw enough of Boss to even try to throw the ball, because he is sandwiched in here. There is a lot of people around. You can, by the time the ball finally comes, wow, yeah, there are two guys just right there. Durant coming in and coming to safety Green.
Lawrence Tynes will try this one from 29 yards out. He was good earlier from 22. So he's 2 for 2 for the day. And as we come up on 5.5 to play in the first half, Giants put 3 more on the board. It's 10-6 Jaguars. 5 minutes, 34 seconds to play in a first half that Jacksonville has grabbed and held the advantage.
It would be a 10-10 game right now, if it, except for the holding call on Kevin Boss.
Number 35, Deja Kareem, to take this kick at 4. 20. And spun down at about the 29-yard line. Well, the Giant defense got to figure out a way to stop this guy. And the Jacksonville ground game, 115 yards rushing against the Giant D so far today.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Viagra. And by Chevrolet.
Beautiful view of the George Washington Bridge on a clear, sunny Sunday afternoon. 5:26 to play. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Remember Jack Del Rio talking about his little concern about those defensive ends of the Giants. So far, so good for his offensive line. Quick pass this side. Mike Thomas. Thomas breaking free across the 40 out to the 43-yard line.
Thomas almost had that football stripped away. And it was done by Justin Tuck, who's had a pretty busy work-wise start to this football game. He's seen a little bit of everything. Guys going at his knee. He actually is blocked by 3 separate Jacksonville guys on that play. There he trips and goes down. This time he tries to fall back in and get MJD, but he can't. But watch how close he comes to stripping this ball away from Mike Thomas. He almost got it.
On first down, this is Jennings, and Jennings isn't going anywhere. Jonathan Goff, the middle linebacker, made that stop in the middle of the field. You know, it was almost comical to hear people like Justin talk about Maurice Jones-Drew. He says the problem is he bounces off of people, and he's, as if you mentioned it earlier, as if he isn't small enough. When he sees you, he gets lower.
Well, he gets lower, and he's just so extraordinarily powerful. I mean, you know, Maurice Jones-Drew, if he was 6'5", would weigh 370 pounds.
This is Jennings as Maurice Jones-Drew looks on from the sideline, and not much there.
You know, he might be short, but those legs of his and his thighs and lower back and the power-producing parts of that deal, it belies his stature. And let's be realistic. This is one of the premier players in the National Football League. It's his 5th year, but this guy is the real deal. 3 consecutive 100-yard games, 100-plus coming into today.
And chomping at the bit that he's not in there now on 3rd and 7. Gerard got rid of it. This side, that's complete. Number 83, Jason Hill with the catch, and it's a first down for the Jaguars inside the Giants' 40-yard line.
Boy, and the Jaguars really going to a max protection here, trying to give David Gerard a good look at things. They are doubling up, especially on Justin Tuck. Take a look here at the bottom of the screen. Watch how they really are going to sit in here, Lewis. And then you see Jordan Black falls in at the last minute, but they're really trying to remove Tuck from this deal.
That is Jason Hill's first reception of the season. Gerard spins out, the pitch to Jennings. Jennings eludes a tackler at the 30 and gets forward to the 27. Corey Webster and Kenny Phillips combined for the stop.
And again, that's just the old-fashioned option And that's the type of a deal that you can run on occasion if you've got a quarterback who can move like David Garrard. This is no different than the option. You see that, the start, here he comes back after the counter. That's no different than every high school team in America runs. It's a rarity in the National Football League because not many people have quarterbacks that can move like David Garrard.
And JD back into the lineup on first down, and he gets the football. Looking for an opening to squeeze through, and he's inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. You know, David Garrard, he acknowledged to us that the big complaint about him is he holds on to the football too long. But then he says, and he makes a good point, not many quarterbacks can make the plays that I do with my legs. 2 minutes to play at the new Meadowlands Stadium. Jacksonville in the lead and moving. A reminder, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, James Brown, Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason, and Coach Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. 2nd and 7, each team 3 timeouts from the 23-yard line. Garrard to throw. Screen. Maurice Jones-Drew pulled down from behind by Barry Cofield. That's a pretty good play.
Well, that is the second time this half that Barry Cofield has chased down a screen and made the play. And when you're getting that kind of hustle down the line of scrimmage out of one of your defensive tackles, that is a huge plus. I mean, that is just outstanding pursuit by Cofield. Yeah, he gets some help along the way, but that was good hustle by a D tackle.
See there, the Jacksonville Jaguars do good work in the last 2 minutes of the half. 3rd and 5. Whistles.
First,
Giants call a
charge
timeout. Stop the clock with 1:17 to play. We're coming right back. Head coach Tom Coughlin called that timeout from the sideline. Obviously saw something he didn't like. The line of scrimmage, the 21-yard line. Garrard and the Jaguars need the 17 for a first down. Garrard going to throw for it. Kicks it away, goes back in the other direction, looking, and is going to run it. And brought down at the 15-yard line by Michael Boley.
Well, again, the legs of David Garrard on display.
Get a timeout on the field. We were just talking about David Garrard being able to make plays with his legs.
Well, and again, it's all about moving the sticks, scoring points. But when you've got a quarterback that can do something like this, he is outside the numbers to his offensive right, and then he ends up picking up the first down outside the numbers on the offensive left. Not many guys in this league can pull that off.
Each team down to 2 timeouts. First down from the 15-yard line. Garrard to throw. Throwing corner of the end zone. It is off the fingertips of Mike Sims Walker.
Well, Terrell Thomas had pretty good coverage back there on Sims Walker. And just a third-year guy out of USC, but you can see he's got man coverage all the way on Walker. And he takes away anything underneath, and it would have taken an absolutely perfect pass by Garrard to get over Thomas and yet get in a position where Sims Walker could catch it.
2nd and 10. Short drop on the slant. That's complete to the 5-yard line to Mike Thomas. And the clock continues to move, coming up on 45 seconds to play.
Well, that time Thomas again on the coverage. He was looking like he was expecting some over-the-top help to the inside. Wasn't there.
And now Jacksonville with a second timeout taken. 41 seconds to play. Here's Giants defensive coordinator Perry Fewell trying to figure out something here. First and goal from the 5-yard line. Garrard, back of the end zone, incomplete, intended for Sims Walker. 2nd and goal, 37 seconds on the clock.
Well, we saw Perry Fewell there, and one of the things he's unhappy about is that his defense can't get off the field. That was the 34th play run by Jacksonville this half. The Giants have run only 19.
3 offensive series for the Giants in the first half. That's not acceptable.
No, and the Jaguars closing in on they've got 140 rushing yards, if you can believe that, in the first half.
2nd and goal. Gerard with time, throws, touchdown. Mike Sims Walker, no, now it's ruled incomplete.
The ball came out.
And Kenny Phillips getting a pat on the helmet from his teammates.
Let's take a look at this again, and Walker's going to be open. He curls back to the inside, and he's just got to hold on to that ball. Let's see. Boy, he is sitting on the ground, and he's got to secure that football, and Phillips rips it away from him.
3rd and goal. Gerard under pressure from behind. Eludes one tackler, goes back in the other direction to the 5. Touchdown, Jacksonville. How's that for making a play with your legs?
And listen to the boos rain down from the upper deck here of the New Meadowlands Stadium, because they're a little unhappy with this Giants defense. And again, we talked earlier about trying to match the intensity and the enthusiasm that the Jaguars are playing with, and this is where it shows up. You know, this is where gang tackling, guys getting in on it, just outstanding work. It's the Jacksonville guys that are running around putting a hat on people and knocking them down, not the guys from the Giants.
Extra point is good. The boos continue. It is Jacksonville 17-6 over the Giants. Once again, our thanks to the MetLife Bloom for providing aerial coverage of all of the action below. Look for MetLife Bloom's Snoopy 1 and 2 when they pass through a town near you or over you.
How ironic is it that last week the Giants, even though they lost, got all sorts of praise for the way they contained Michael Vick and didn't allow him to run around and really give them all sorts of fits. And now, 7 days later, David Garrard is killing them with his feet.
Ware is deep for the kick. From the 8. Here's the contact out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Let's go back to the David Garrard touchdown run.
Well, if you don't see Jacksonville play a lot, maybe this surprises you. If you follow them at all, it's no surprise at all. Since the day he got in the National Football League 9 years ago, David Garrard has been running all over the place, and he is a big, strong guy. I mean, all you got to do is take a look at him. He's 236 pounds, and he's only 6'1". He's got power, he's got elusiveness, and when he's on it, he's very effective at the quarterback position.
Manning steps up. That's Ahmad Bradshaw out of the backfield, changing direction across the 40, has a first down to the 43 with the final seconds winding down, and Manning calls timeout. You know, David Garrard told us yesterday, what did he do Thanksgiving Day? He sent a text message to Tom Coughlin and wished him happy Thanksgiving.
Well, Tom Coughlin drafted him, and Coughlin is the reason that he is a Jacksonville Jaguar, and he has a great deal of respect and affection for Tom. He obviously didn't play for him more than a year, but he appreciates him giving the opportunity.
5 seconds on the clock.
Well, let's see if we can get this ball downfield. If you're the Giants, get it into field goal range and hope that there's a penalty. Throw it that far and hope at least you can get a penalty that would extend this half.
Sounds like you're extending the wish list.
Well, that's all they have left. With
penalty marker flies. Manning straight up the middle, throws the short one to Bradshaw, and Bradshaw spun down at the 47-yard line, and halftime will have to wait.
Well, there'll be an untimed down because that's against the defense, and the half cannot end on a defensive penalty. So the Giants are going to get another crack at it.
So they are 52 yards away from pay dirt with triple zeros on the clock.
Well, Jacksonville, of all teams, knows how this works. They were the beneficiary of a Hail Mary a couple weeks ago.
Four-man rush. Manning gonna heat it. That's gonna come up short and knocked down at the 15-yard line by Justin Durant. The last 3 games, the Giants, no touchdown. 17-6 Jags at the half. The Spread halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. As we get set for the second half here at New Meadowlands Stadium, there's our halftime score. Jacksonville leading the New York Giants 17-6. And let's take a look at the Droid Pro Play presented by Motorola. Not a surprise, it has to do with the ground game, doesn't it?
Well, a lot of teamwork here by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Meester gets a block, Manawai gets in there, gets a block, and David Garrard picks it up and gets it in the end zone. That was just a sensational effort on his part with a lot of help along the way, Greg.
Greg Gumbel and Dan Deerdorf with you, and we were just speculating as to the kind of locker room scene it had to be for the New York Giants. I imagine Tom Coughlin was emphasizing the fact that they'd better stop the run and find a way to do it quick.
Well, running the football and defending the run are all about attitude. They're the most basic parts about playing football. And you're right. I'm sure it was a blistering halftime by Tom Coughlin saying, look, guys, we'll find out how much you want to get back into this football game by how well we can stop them from running the football.
And what's really interesting is they're going to get a chance to show it right off the bat because Jacksonville will take the second half kickoff.
Oh, and especially, Greg, considering, it's a very prideful defense for the New York Giants. They are the second-ranked defense in the NFL from a yardage standpoint, and they are not used to getting bullied around and giving up 145 yards rushing at halftime.
Najee Kareem will take this one at the 4. 20. And out across the 25 and down at the 26-yard line as we take a look at some numbers from the first half, and not surprisingly, they're going to favor the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, you just take a look. You just take a look at that 145 yards, and that just leaps off the screen. 236 total yards, and when you can go 5 of 6 on third down, and the Giants haven't converted a third down yet.
That 145 yards is only 16 shy of the most that the Giants have allowed on the ground all season long. Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield on first down. Quick pass on the slant. Incomplete, intercepted. Picked off by number 24, Terrell Thomas.
Well, talk about what a team needed. This time, more than what the Giants did, this was what Jacksonville did to give it to them. Because David Garrard, this ball looked like it was a little behind Mike Sims Walker. Catchable, but not where it really needed to be. You look at it from here, it's back behind him, and Walker just doesn't, I don't even know if he's aware of where the ball went. But that was as easy an interception as you could possibly come up with. Can they capitalize?
David Garrard was just telling us a lot of the interceptions this year, some of it his fault, some not his fault.
Well, that ball needed to be out more in front of Sims Walker.
On first down, Brandon Jacobs pulls ahead inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
Well, again, you can see that the Jaguars have turnovers of their own. Remember, the Giants were leading the NFL coming into this game with 30. So 25 is really nothing to be proud of. And again, that's just, that is exactly what the Giants needed. Can they do something with it?
On 2nd and 5, Jacobs again. Not much there.
Well, David Garrard has had more than his fair share of tipped passes. Here against San Diego, you can see that one batted straight up in the air. Another one from in the Buffalo game that caroms right to someone, and they're against Cleveland in the game last week, and that's the one that just happened within the last minute. So, those are the old tip drill for the defensive guys, and when that ball floats up into the air, they're pretty easy picks.
3rd and 4. Penalty markers fly. Manning throws. That's complete to about the 21-yard line. Where on the receiving end? Terry McCauley.
Well, no doubt that Jacksonville was in the neutral zone at the snap of the ball.
Offside, defense number 96. Penalties decline, first down.
Terrence Knighton jumping at the line of scrimmage. Got a great nickname, doesn't he, Dan?
His nickname is Pot Roast. Last year, you can see the pot roast was into the oven where he shouldn't have been. Yeah. He was a 3rd-round pick last year and started every game for the Jags last year.
First down now for the Giants at the Jacksonville 21. Straight ahead is Brandon Jacobs. To about the 15. We were talking about just how big a guy Brandon Jacobs is, and when he walked into our interview room, he looked a lot like a defensive lineman.
Well, if you're not looking at his face, if you're not, because we all recognize Brandon, we've talked to him a number of times, but when you just out of the corner of your eye see this person walk into the room, you'd say, well, Justin Tuck just got here, or Umanura, or one of the defensive linemen, and then you look up and you actually see that it's Brandon Jacobs. And again, you're reminded at what a big man he is. 2
prior trips to the red zone, 2 field goals for the Giants in this game. This is Jacobs again to the 13. Jacksonville comes into this game with a turnover differential of -12, and that started the day as the 2nd worst in the league.
Well, and the Giants at -8, and I don't remember the last time I saw 2 teams that were that far in the red in the turnover differential. They both had winning records.
Jacksonville with 5 straight turnovers to start the second half last week.
And won the game. How is that possible?
3rd and 2. Pitch for Ahmad Bradshaw. Cuts it back inside. Still on his feet inside the 10. First down.
Well, that was just great effort by Ahmad Bradshaw. Fighting after contact, bouncing off of people, keeping the legs driving. Kevin Booth gets out in front there, number 77. He comes back in and tries to get a block. But look at him. He fought through the tackle of Darrell Smith first, number 52. Keeps right on going. Alu got a good hit on Bradshaw. That's desire right there. That was well done.
At first glance, it looked like the defense had that one figured out. First and goal. Manning with time. Tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Second and goal.
Eli Manning looking to go to the middle of the field, and you can see he's just nudged right there. Derek Harvey, number 91, was just kind of a poke in the ribs at Eli Manning as he was delivering that ball.
On second and goal, Jacobs is the deep back behind Manning. Jacobs with the handoff. They have lost a yard on the play. Leger Duzable, second-year D lineman out of Central Florida.
And again, remember, Kevin Gilbride at one time, a couple of years ago, had maybe the best offensive line in football to rely upon when he's calling his plays. And the left guard is now playing center. The center is out. The left tackle is out. The backup left tackle is out. You only have some stability over on the right side where Snee and McKenzie are still at home.
On third and goal, Manning throwing far side of the field, tipped incomplete, intended for Kevin Boss. It was too high. More boos.
Well, he had 2 receivers over there. Derek Hagan was in the vicinity as well. See, there's Hagan, 85 in the slot, and then coming right in behind it. See, that's not right. Hagan, I'm assuming that Hagan, because he's the new guy, ran the wrong pattern. He's supposed to clear to the inside and open that area up for Kevin Boss.
Lawrence Tynes from 28 yards out. And the Giants with their 3rd field goal of the day to stay within shouting distance. 10:19 to play in the 3rd. Jacksonville's lead is 17-9. Hey, tonight on 60 Minutes, they wrote the music for Spider-Man the Musical, but you'll only see U2 perform it on 60 Minutes tonight. Only CBS. Is it U2, Dan, or you also?
U2 fan?
Or you also?
No, I'm a U2 fan. Big fan.
Also. Kareem. On the run. At the 10. 25 and hit hard. Forward to about the 27 or 28. Courtesy of Clint Simpson. 10-14 to play third quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Best Buy. Get the best tech gifts this holiday from Best Buy. And by Toyota.
Coming up on 10 minutes to play here in the third quarter, Jacksonville with a 17-9 lead on the New York Giants. Have we ever said it before, Dan, that when you settle for field goals, sometimes that can get you into trouble as time goes on?
Yes, we have, because it's been borne out week after week.
On first down, Maurice Jones-Drew. And nothing there. And the Giants begin to make some stops on defense.
Well, in the first half, Maurice Jones-Drew was running through some pretty sizable holes. This time he starts off to the left, and look at that alley. He just explodes into the second and third level. And again, here he makes a cutback, but you know, there's been a lack of backside pursuit by the New York Giants in the first half. Now, they successfully defended it on that first down play, but they have just got to seal it off.
On 2nd and 9, Garrard under pressure and throws it away. Buried by Justin Tuck in the backfield after he got rid of the ball.
Well, look, and Tuck is trying to get this crowd into the game. You know, it's a two-way street here. If you're going to implore the crowd to get in behind you, well, then you better raise your own energy levels as well. We'll see if the Giants can. They got a turnover on the first possession. If they can get a 3 and out here on the second, this game could turn.
Jacksonville 5 out of 6 on third down. Garrard steps up, throws over the middle, and that's complete to Mercedes Lewis, and he has enough for a first down at the 39-yard line.
Well, if
cool
you're not,
and calm Dave Garrard delivering that.
If you're not impressed with the way Garrard has played so far in this game, I mean, this is really just efficient quarterbacking. He's got good protection, but this again, look at the power of Mercedes Lewis. I mean, check this out. This guy's running out of the slot. This guy's a tight end. He's not supposed to be running wide receiver patterns like that, fully flexed out in the slot position, not at 6'6", 270.
On first down from the 39-yard line, Garrard going to go back to the air, a little pump fake, and going to go deep down this sideline, and is popped up into the air, and incomplete pass intended for Zach Miller. And with that, we take a timeout and head across the river to James Brown for an update. JB?
Hey, Greg, Dan mentioned efficient quarterbacking. Certainly that's the case with Aaron Rodgers. Take a look on this 31. Can you drop it in the basket any nicer there to Jordy Nelson? That set up a 1-yard TD run by Aaron Rodgers. It is tied at 10-all. Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Deardorff.
All right, JB, thank you. While we were away, an automatic first down has been awarded the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They got an illegal contact call against the Giants.
Lots of contact on the field. So the line of scrimmage now, the 44-yard line, first down, Jacksonville. Garrard to throw. Gonna go deep. Incomplete. Almost intercepted by Terrell Thomas.
Well, David Garrard just floats this ball up there into really pretty good coverage. I mean, Thomas is covering Thomas here. But look, who's the receiver and who's the defender? You can see that Mike Thomas of Jacksonville actually has to become the defender, and he's doing everything he can do to keep Terrell Thomas from intercepting the pass.
2nd and 10.
I wasn't a fan of that throw.
Maurice Jones-Drew piled up at about the 47-yard line. Jason Pierre-Paul, the first-round draft pick out of the University of South Florida, in on the stop.
There's a good look at the Giants' first-round pick. And I asked Tom Coughlin a couple weeks ago, you described him as really green. Is he still that green? And he said, well, instead of forest green, he's just a little lighter shade of green now. He's working his way into it.
3rd and 7. The blitz. Garrard almost picked off over the middle.
Justin Tuck back in the secondary.
What's he doing there?
Well, he's covering a lot of ground.
No kidding.
And he is a defensive end, so let's not get too crazy that he drops the ball. But this is a zone blitz, an overload blitz, and Garrard gets rid of it, not expecting Justin Tuck to be the guy who dropped all the way back there, and that just went right through his hands.
Adam Podlesh punting for the first time today for Jacksonville. This is Darius Reynaud. Going to let the ball bounce, and special teams is going to smother this one at about the 4-yard line. Kasim Osgood making the stop. Justin Tuck, looking for that pick. Hey, from TV's #1 comedy to the #1 new comedy, the #1 news magazine, the #1 news show, and the #1 show on television. Thanks for making CBS America's #1 network. Ahmad Bradshaw looking for running room outside, gets it out to about the 8-yard line, where he's tracked down by Terrence Knighton.
And you can see there Bradshaw at the conclusion of that run, both hands on the football and just extremely cognizant of not fumbling it away. But again, right now, a situation like this where the Giants could use some big plays. With Hakeem Nicks not here, with Steve Smith not here, they are really absent firepower at the wide receiver position. Eli Manning could really use that.
2nd and 5. Manning, foot slant, that's dropped by Kevin Boss.
Well, without Nicks and without Smith, you need everybody else to pick it up. And Kevin Boss didn't help out the situation right here because Eli delivers a pass right on his hands, right in the crease. And this is a situation where everyone else has got to elevate their game to pick up the slack.
Looked like he'd been taking lessons from Justin Tuck.
Oh, that's very, very harsh.
3rd and 5.
Comparing a tight end to a defensive end.
Yeah, but the result was exactly the same. 3rd and 5. DJ Ware in the backfield with Manning. Manning under pressure on the run and brought down at the 10-yard line by Sean Considine.
Well, Eli Manning that time, though, he does the right thing. You can't take a chance of turning it over on your own side of the field. So better to take the sack. You don't find anybody. Try to get out of there. Protect the football, which he's doing a pretty good job of keeping it high and tight, and punt it away and hope your defense can make a stand.
At Dodge, who's had problems handling the football in recent weeks. Handles this one. And gets a horrible kick away. And he'll get the bounce.
That's a knuckleball, and man, did he get lucky.
This one rolls dead at the 37-yard line. And that ends up being a horrible punt, good for 53 yards.
And he's
Is sponsored by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL. And by Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback.
6:03 to play in the 3rd quarter. Jacksonville with a 17-9 lead, and Jacksonville's offense has sputtered early here in the 2nd half. Maurice Jones-Drew straight ahead.
Well, you used the word sputtered. The reason that they've sputtered is that David Garrard has thrown 1 interception here at the beginning of the 2nd half, and he's thrown 2 other passes that could have been intercepted. It has not been a good start to the second half for Garrard in terms of throwing the football. He has thrown a couple floaters. He threw one behind Sims Walker that ended up being an interception.
That's how he's done lately. 2nd and 4. Once again, 32. And this time hit hard by Kenny Phillips, the safety. At the 46-yard line, that'll leave it with a 3rd and 1.
Well, and I think this is pretty smart here by Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, going, hey, I saw Garrard throw those things too. Let's see if we can pound out a couple first downs on the ground.
And getting back to how we were successful in the first half. Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield along with Greg Jones. The give is to Jones-Drew, and he burrows for a first down to about the 48. And Burrows describes it perfectly.
That does. Tom Coughlin's going, man, I had 9 guys up in the box. I can't get that many other guys close to the line of scrimmage. As you can see, there's more than you can block, but Maurice Jones-Drew, he runs right through that tackle by Michael Boley. I mean, it was a hard hit by Boley, but you can see Boley's the one that went to the ground, and Jones-Drew kept going forward.
And on first down, they're going to keep it on the ground. And Jones-Drew across midfield to the 48 of the Giants. And the clock continues to run as we come up on 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter.
Well, I mentioned a minute ago about David Garrard and the way he started here in the second half. That's the interception that went behind Sims Walker. And then this high floater downfield that really required his own player to break it up, and then he threw one right to Justin Tuck. Those were 2 possible interceptions. This is the one way you minimize the chance of that, though. Keep giving it to 32.
He's going to throw on 2nd and 7 here. Quick out pattern on the far side of the field, complete to Mike Thomas. And that'll be a couple of yards shy of a first down. And they'll restart the clock with 3.5 minutes to play here in the 3rd.
Well, the one thing that Jacksonville has, they've got confidence now. They got it on that opening drive of the game when they went 75 yards. And Jack Del Rio has done a good job of instilling confidence into a hard-nosed, physically tough football team.
Rashad Jennings is in the backfield. On 3rd and 2, Garrard going to throw for it. Pulls it down, now throws complete on the outside. Complete to Kasim Osgood for the first down.
Well, Kasim Osgood is normally a special teams player. He is a wide receiver, but he excels on special teams. He's gone to 3 Pro Bowls with San Diego as a special teams guy, where he's just the best in the AFC for a couple of years. And you can see that ball came out, but upon hitting the ground, and moot point anyway, he recovered it himself.
2.5 to play in the 3rd. Jacksonville doubling up on first downs, the Giants. Garrard under pressure and shakes one, lost the football, and pounced on it at the 48.
Well, finally the Giants get a really big play defensively in the Jacksonville backfield. Cofield is coming right up the middle, and he just stays with it. Look at him keep fighting, and then finally coming in late, Pierre Paul. And very fortunately for David Garrard in Jacksonville, it comes right back to Garrard.
What did David Garrard tell us? The Giants come at you with long arms.
Well, and Pierre Paul might have the longest of the group, and he did a good job of knocking the ball out.
And now 2nd and a lengthy 24. Maurice Jones-Drew, left side, maybe 3, maybe 4. Forward progress mark to the 48-yard line. And at the 1.5-minute mark, we check in once again with James Brown. JB?
Hey, Greg and Dan, Pittsburgh had limited Buffalo to 114 total yards. That is until Ryan Fitzpatrick hooks up here with Fred Jackson. Hard run to pay dirt, and I would if Pitts D is running after me. He makes it in. It is now 13-7 Pittsburgh late in the 3rd. Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Deardorff.
How about those Buffalo Bills?
Making a game of it, aren't they?
3rd and 20. for Jacksonville. The Jaguars 8 out of 10 on third down today. Garrard fakes one way, comes this way to Jones-Drew. And Jones-Drew penalty markers fly as he progresses to the 42 of the Giants.
Well, that's that double screen that Jacksonville loves to run. It's coming back anyway, although they weren't even close to picking up first down yardage.
Holding offense number 63. Penalties decline. Fourth down.
Brad Meester making a franchise record 156th start today. Guilty of the hold.
Well, screens have been good to Jacksonville last week. That's what Maurice Jones-Drew went 75 yards on to win it in that game against Cleveland when he got it all the way down to the 1 yard line. Good job by the defensive team of the Giants. So they practiced against it, they anticipated it, and they executed a good defense against it.
Darius Reynaud deep for the Giants. Podlesh barely got it away. Fair catch called for and made. And are they going to throw a flag on that? They will not. Tyron Brackenridge. Tom Coughlin wants a penalty, but he didn't exactly level him. However, contact was made.
Welcome back to the New Meadowlands, everybody. Well, there's no doubt that's a fair catch signal by Reynaud, but Brackenridge didn't see it. He comes in and then he pulls up at the last minute, but there's no question he does make contact. He puts his shoulder pad right into Reynaud's thigh.
No penalty.
No.
12-yard line.
It could have drawn the flag, though. No one would have. You can't deny it.
Manning, play fake. This pass out here, what a catch at the 29-yard line made by Kevin Boss.
Well, there's Kevin Boss in his attempt to try to make up for the last time that Eli Manning went to him and he dropped it right in the seam. This is really a good job of getting set. Watch him lay out here. Look at that stretch. Grabs the football with both hands and then quickly tucks it back in so he's able to hold on to it when he hits the ground with both hands.
17-yard pickup, final seconds of the third quarter. And here's Brandon Jacobs with a huge hole on the left side across the 45 out to the 47-yard line. Don Carey with the stop, and the Giants finding a little momentum as we hit the three-quarter mark. That's the end of 3. Jaguars 17, Giants 9. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Hey, I'm all ears. Welcome back to the Meadowlands and the NFL on CBS, where more people watch the NFL this season than any other network. Our producer, Mark Wolf, our director, Bob Fishman, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and the rest of our terrific CBS Sports crew. Start of the fourth quarter, Jacksonville leading 17-9. Brandon Jacobs in the backfield. 1st and 10 for Manning and the Giants. Eli with time. Far side of the field, wide open is Kevin Boss. And Boss is run out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
Well, all of a sudden, Kevin Boss is finding some holes in this Jacksonville defense. Again, just barely flexed out a couple yards, and look how he breaks. And that's just finding a hole in the zone, and Manning finds him right away. And all of a sudden, Jacksonville disregarding this tight end.
And suddenly the Giants picking things up over these last 3 plays. On 1st down, back to the ground game, Brandon Jacobs. And Jacobs to about the 26-yard line. We have a moment to remind you tonight on The Amazing Race. A sushi showdown could push the teams to the limit. Don't miss a new Amazing Race after 60 minutes tonight. Only CBS. Ever been part of a sushi showdown, Dan?
No, I don't believe I've dreamed of it.
Unless it's just one of those self-inflicted battles, right? Just in a battle with yourself.
And mostly when I dreamed of it was after eating Mexican food.
2nd and 7. Manning. Down the sideline all alone, complete touchdown, Mario Manningham.
Steve Smith thought that's just fine. Mario Manningham has been getting a lot of double coverage today. There he is split to the outside. And again, working against the zone. You can see the corner lets him go. And Don Carey, the safety, just not able to defend the deep outside.
And right here, the Giants are going to go for 2 for the tie. Ahmad Bradshaw in the backfield.
You got a chance to tie the football game, you go for it.
First time they've gone for 2 points this year. Bradshaw into the end zone.
And I think there's a show of confidence by Tom Coughlin. You need a couple tough yards for a 2-point conversion. He lets Ahmad Bradshaw have the ball instead of Jacobs.
A little life here in the big stadium. A couple of minutes gone here in the fourth quarter, and a complete turnaround in fortunes for both these teams as the Giants have pulled even at 17. Deji Kareem deep for the Jaguars. And he'll take it at the 4. Burst of speed across the 30 and out to about the 34-yard line. Let's go back to that touchdown pass.
Yeah, it's a mistake by Jacksonville defensively. Here's Manningham split to the outside, but here's Travis Beckham. Now I want you to watch these two defenders. They're going to play zone, and they're leaving Don Carey, the safety back there, to play the, well, he can't play both guys. Look, both of the underneath defenders let their guys go deep, and Carey's caught in the middle. He's got Beckham to the inside. He's got Manningham to the outside. He's in no man's land. Manning could have thrown a touchdown pass to either one of them.
From the 34-yard line, Garrard steps up, pulls it down, and here he goes, sliding down at about the 39-yard line. So far in this second half, Jacksonville, which had such tremendous offensive momentum in the first half, this second half, there you go. 2 punts and interception.
And again, it kind of started with David Garrard looking, if he wouldn't have put the ball on the back shoulder of Mike Sims-Walker and serve up an interception right to Terrell Thomas, who knows how this might be a different situation right now, but it is what it is. Now the question is, now that the Giants look like they're invested in this football game, can Jacksonville get that upper hand that they had in the first half once again?
Garrard to throw on 2nd and 5, running out of time, tucks it away, and he slides down for a first down at the 45-yard line. On the previous play, Jason Hill, the wide receiver for Jacksonville, limped off the field, and he's being tended to on the near sideline.
Well, David Garrard hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in this game. He has thrown an interception. He's 15 of 24, but where he's made the difference is his ability to run. Running for first downs, buying extra time, moving all around. Running for, his legs have been a huge part of it.
On first down, Maurice Jones-Drew. Maybe a yard. There's Jason Hill being worked on the near side of the field.
That's normally,
that has all the makings of a cramp.
Yeah,
right?
That's normally when a guy gets a cramp in his calf, when you see him flexing the foot back like that.
Or you're exercising a new pair of socks.
No, you're not. You don't need to break socks in. They come pretty flexible at this level.
2nd and 9. Pass to the near side, and that is caught by Sims-Walker. Out of bounds at the 47 to New York and James Brown. JB.
Greg and Dan, Atlanta breaks a 10-all tie when on 4th and goal from the 1. It's Michael Turner with the 1-yard TD run, capping a 14-play, 80-yard drive. The 26-yard Turner run was a key play on that. Atlanta on top by 7. Greg and Dan.
Fairly decent running back in his own right.
Yeah, no kidding. That was the best throw of this half by David Garrard.
3rd and 2. And Garrard going to give it to Maurice Jones-Drew, trying to turn the corner. He does. Oh, what a burst inside the 40-yard line, and a first down for Jacksonville.
When he first took that handoff, it looked like the Giants had it defended, but they weren't able to set a containment edge. You can see Michael Boley, number 59, is late getting out there, and he just sheds Grant. He just sheds Deion Grant.
And that is the 4th consecutive 100-yard rushing game of the season for Maurice Jones-Drew. He's up to 107 today and counting. Garrard on the move, and here he goes. And out of bounds just across the first down marker at the 26-yard line.
That is so demoralizing for a defense when a quarterback gets out and breaks containment that easily. There's Jordan Black working on Justin Tuck. He runs him upfield, and
A couple of Notre Damers doing battle.
Yep, they are. Guys who are actually at Notre Dame together, teammates, Jordan Black and Justin Tuck. But again, no one responsible for David Garrard, and that's easy pickings.
201 rushing yards on this Giant defense today. Jones-Drew. Keith Bullock knocked him back. Line of scrimmage will be about the 22.5, and we're under 10 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter of a tie game.
And by running the ball effectively, the Jaguars are able to keep themselves out of a lot of 3rd and long situations where, let's face it, they don't excel at that. And against a team that pressures the quarterback as well as the Giants, you know, that is so critical if you can minimize the number of times you're in that long yardage situation.
2nd and 7. Garrard flips it out into the flat, and nowhere to go for Maurice Jones-Drew.
Well, we saw Maurice Jones-Drew get by Deion Grant earlier in this drive. Not that time.
We heard, I believe we've seen that the Giant defense heard the call at halftime.
Yes. Don't they look like a completely different unit?
Garrard now looking at a 3rd and 8 as we move up on 8:45 to play.
Well, I just talked about those 3rd and long situations. Here's one of them.
Jacksonville 9 out of 12 on 3rd downs today. Here come the Giants. Garrard got rid of it. His receiver slipped and the ball falls incomplete. Mike Sims-Walker slipped and fell, and Terrell Thomas couldn't catch up with it.
Well, Antrell Roll comes off the edge, and he is a free runner. And David Garrard is going to take a pretty good whack at the end of this thing. From the bottom of your screen, you're going to see, here comes Roll, number 26. Jennings has to choose. There's just too many blitzers. And David Garrard had to make a quick decision.
Josh Scobie from 42 yards out to give Jacksonville the lead. And that's good. 8:26 to play. 4th quarter, Jacksonville regains the lead, 20-17.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Radio Shack. The Shack makes you a holiday hero. Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Flying high above with a nice look at the Manhattan Bridge in the fading sunlight. The MetLife blimp providing today's aerial coverage of the game. The blimp travels over 60,000 miles a year to cover sporting events and television specials throughout the United States. Jacksonville goes 42 yards in 10 plays. Josh Scobie with a field goal to give the Jaguars the lead. Both these teams at 6 and 4 on the season. This is Ware from the 5. Shakes a tackler, but not the second. And he's down at the 23-yard line, courtesy of William Middleton. That's where Eli Manning will go to work when we come back after this. Hey, a reminder, coming up on the Subway postgame show, the usual suspects, JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show. Eli Manning's numbers give it to Ahmad Bradshaw. Justin Durant with the stop.
Well, New York on their last drive, Kevin Boss finally came alive and made the good grab there, and again finding a hole in that Jacksonville zone. Eli Manning just really zipping it in there, and then on that blown coverage, really, he finds Mario Manningham for the TD.
And it's all X's and O's, Dan.
That's this game. It'll never change.
2nd and 8. Brandon Jacobs back into the lineup, and Jacobs play fake to him. Manning, that pass incomplete, and we got a penalty marker flying out of the secondary. Terry McCauley, our official today.
Pass interference, offense, number 86. Penalties decline, 3rd down.
Penalty is on Bear Pasco.
Well, Pasco is really now the guy who really plays fullback more than anything else for the Giants. And there's the leading receivers today. You can see Bradshaw. Manningham has the lone touchdown. And again, this is a receiving core that absent, Nix is gone, Smith is gone. A lot of new faces that haven't had very much in the way of practice time with Eli Manning.
3rd and 8. Giants need the 34-yard line for a 1st down. Manning, far side of the field, that's incomplete. Misconnection. Michael Clayton, who last caught a pass in the National Football League on the final day of the 09 season with Tampa Bay.
Well, and again, just signed this week. So again, it just shows what Eli Manning is having to overcome today with receivers that now Michael Clayton, he knew back before he became a professional, but still, you get no quality practice time with these guys at all. What do you expect to happen?
Dodge kicks it. Mike Thomas from the 23. Shakes one tackler, going the other way, and is brought down at about the 26-yard line. There is Michael Clayton, who just a week or so ago had Jeff Garcia thrown to him in Omaha.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by K Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with K. And by Subway Restaurants, home of the famous $5 footlong sub.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:20 to play in the 4th quarter. The task for the Jaguars offense to take some time off the clock. The task for the Giant defense, a 3 and out would be optimal.
And stripping the football from someone is at the top of their list, too.
Quick pass to the near side. Mike Thomas with running room. Penalty markers down. He's knocked out of bounds at about the 48 or 49-yard line.
I don't think there's any question this is coming back.
Pass interference, offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So Kasim Osgood is guilty of the penalty, and Jack Del Rio sees a real good gainer go by the boards.
Well, I think Kasim Osgood was in the process of making a block as the ball was in the air. And you set up that quick screen to the outside. There's 81 right there. You can see him. He's in the process of blocking a defender while the football is in the air. That is a no-no.
1st and 20. Here they come. Quick pass. Batted down by Chris Canty.
Boy, David Garrard, I didn't see the hit I was taking. He's arguing to Terry McCauley that he got pulled down by the face mask. Umanura comes in. Oh, he's saying he got hit in the face. Yeah, and Osi Umanura, he gets in there, and there is some helmet-to-helmet contact. Hardly a vicious blow, but there was contact.
2nd and 20. Maurice Jones-Drew, nowhere to go. Wrapped up first by Justin Tuck.
Boy, and we'll see whether or not Jacksonville is able to convert this thing and move the chains. If they do not, what a monster penalty against Kasim Osgood that negated a big play for Jacksonville, got them into really good field position, and yeah, it brought this crowd to life all of a sudden.
Garrard and the Jaguars need the 36-yard line for a first down.
Perry Fuel has come with the blitz the last couple of times on 3rd and long.
Garrard on the move, threw it away. Got hit in the backfield by OCU Manura.
Well, that was an excellent series for the Giants, aided by Kasim Osgood.
Only the 9th time this year Jacksonville has had a 3-and-out. That's the fewest in the NFL.
Yep. And Garrard was actually already being contacted by the Giants when he threw that football. But boy, they got a reprieve after giving up that big play. But it wouldn't have happened if Osgood wouldn't have been blocking illegally.
Podlesh kick. It bounces and takes a Jacksonville bounce inside the 35. Continues to roll to the 31-yard line. That's a pretty good kick by Adam Podlesh. That's good for 51 yards. While we have a moment. Tonight on CBS, a world premiere movie that'll touch your heart and leave you smiling. Hallmark Hall of Fame's November Christmas. Tonight, only CBS. Is that snow down?
Yes. Yes, it is. It actually snowed in St. Louis on Thanksgiving Day. It was actually quite pretty. Don't make any snide comments.
Lucky you.
We don't all live in Florida.
Brandon Jacobs in the backfield. Manning and the Giants from the 31. Jacobs. Ooh. Big contact at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Giants have really been having success running the football. You know, Brandon Jacobs has been averaging, around 5 yards a carry. And Bradshaw has been averaging, over 6 yards a carry. So it's, they haven't hit their season total, but their yards per carry for their primary ball carriers has been decent.
Meanwhile, the clock becoming a factor as we come up on 5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Manning under pressure, got rid of it, and it is caught at midfield. Mario Manningham reached back, scooped it before it hit the turf.
Well, Mario Manningham knows the pressure that's on his shoulders with this depleted receiving core. And that, again, how good was that?
Here's Brandon Jacobs straight ahead. Jacobs inside the 35 to the 32. Derek Cox saved the touchdown.
And right now, the enthusiasm we're seeing out of the Giants bears no resemblance to the team we saw in the first half. And that was, look at that nifty little move right there by Brandon Jacobs. That was a good job on his part finding the seam and then actually making people miss instead of running over them.
Brandon Jacobs with a season high 87 yards. Rushing, first down. Manning to throw. With time, far side of the field and too high. Intended for Derek Hagan.
Oh, Eli is so mad at himself. Derek Hagan was wide open. Oh, he's frustrated and angry with himself. You can't find a guy this wide open. Derek Cox has the coverage, and man, he is, if you want to call it coverage, he's a good 4 to 5 yards away, and that ball just sails badly on Eli.
2nd and 10. Bradshaw. He's wrapped up by Justin Durant. 4 minutes and counting. It was nice in the hotel to bump into our friend Archie Manning.
Yes, Archie up for the weekend working for CBS on our college football studio.
And wearing a Giants t-shirt. I saw him in the elevator. Imagine that.
Yeah, I don't know how how that happens. Maybe he's got a connection.
3rd and 10. Big play for the Jacksonville defense. Manning, quick pass to Boss. Boss breaks free. First down. 10-5. Touchdown.
If you're Jacksonville, you got to know that the chances are Manning in this crunch time is not going to go to one of the new guys. He's going to try to find someone where there's a comfort level. That would be Manningham, and that would certainly be Kevin Boss. And in the second half, Kevin Boss has really come to life.
The extra point that would require Jacksonville to score a touchdown is good. 3 minutes, 15 seconds to play in regulation. Kevin Boss with his 3rd receiving touchdown of the season, and the Giants go on top 24-20.
Well, get the football to a guy and then see if he can make a play. And that's what Kevin Boss does right there. It breaks the tackle, a good stiff arm, and then it's a pretty easy jaunt into the end zone.
Kevin Boss, no catches at all in the first half, 3 for 74 here in the second.
And Courtney Green, the safety, not able to come in and make the tackle on the big tight end.
And this New York offense has finally come to life. Touchdowns on 2 of their last 3 drives.
And how simple a pattern was that? That's just about that's just Boss releasing from the line and about 4 yards downfield. If you're going to give a tight end a free release like that, you're asking for big trouble on the defensive side of things.
Now the Jaguars, who overcame a 3-0 deficit in the first quarter and have led most of the day, now have to find a way to dig out of a 4-point hole.
That was pretty much of an "are you kidding me" look on the face of Maurice Jones-Drew.
Deji Kareem looking for the good run back. Kareem from the 5. Shakes a tackler at the 20. Spins down at about the 26 or 27. Deion Grant with the tackle. We jump across the river to James Brown in New York.
Greg and Dan trailing by 7. Green Bay ties it up when on 4th and goal from the 10. Less than a minute to play. Aaron Rodgers with time. Hooking up here with Jordy Nelson. That capped a 16-play, 90-yard drive. All knotted at 17. 49 seconds left in regulation. Greg and Dan.
It didn't look like a pass. It looked like something like a howitzer shot.
And JB goes with time. I think you could have measured how long he was back there with a sundial. He had to be a good 6, 7, 8 seconds back there.
Jacksonville from its own 27. Garrard with time over the middle. Got his man at the 45-yard line, and that's Mike Sims-Walker for a first down. Clock continues to move. 2:55 to play.
Oh, outstanding play action by Garrard. Froze everybody on the front 7 for the Giants.
Garrard got rid of it. Pass is complete on the near side to Mike Thomas, and he steps out of bounds at the 48, maybe the 47 of the Giants.
Boy, David Garrard paid for it. He got a big hit by Osi Umenyiora. Came right around the corner and dropped David Garrard. If he'd have needed another half a second, he wouldn't have gotten it. Look at Umenyiora coming right around there.
Second and 6. Quick pass incomplete. On the slant to Mike Sims-Walker. Once again, James Brown.
Dan, take a look here. Cortland Finnegan, known as a chatty type right on defense, and Andre Johnson, normally the composed one. Look at this. Talk about getting heated right here. Andre Johnson, totally uncharacteristic for him. I guess he didn't like the stock tip that Finnegan was sharing with him. He goes off expressing his frustration. Both guys tossed out. Bottom line, Houston still on top, 17-0. Greg and Dan, you guys don't disagree like that, do you?
Only at our production meeting, James. You don't think the commissioner will be handing out any fines, do you?
I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
Garrard throws, and inside the 35 is Mike Thomas, and that's a first down. Garrard wants to get another play off here before we hit the 2-minute warning.
Again, moving the chains. This is a Jacksonville offense right now that looks pretty poised.
Garrard with good protection, throwing it away. And that'll bring us up 2 seconds shy of the 2-minute warning.
Well, that time it was, wow, what a nice job of pass protection by Jacksonville. I'm waiting for the snap going, well, let's see what Tuck and Umenyiora do. And they were blocked.
2nd and 10 at the 34.
Does Perry Fuel come with does he come with pressure off the edge here? Is there a blitz coming?
Garrard over the middle, dropped at the 30-yard line. Pass intended for the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. We get the 2-minute warning at 1:56 to play. The Giants trying to snap their 2-game losing streak and the Jaguars' 3-game winning streak. We're back right after this. The Jacksonville Jaguars have been last-minute magicians lately. Josh Scobie hit a 59-yard field goal as time expired to beat Indy. Mike Thomas caught the Hail Mary pass as time expired against Houston. And Maurice Jones-Drew scored with 1:16 to play against Cleveland. Garrard got rid of it. Incomplete, penalty markers down. And it's going to be against the Giants.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 31. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The penalty is on Aaron Ross.
Tom Coughlin can't believe it. On a 3rd down that does not get converted, you give them the first down via an automatic one on a penalty. Woo. Some penalties are more painful than others. That was one of them.
The line of scrimmage, the Giants 29. Each team with 3 timeouts remaining. Garrard under pressure and goes down at the 40. Justin Tuck.
Well, what happened there is Umenyiora gets a great start upfield, and Antrell Roll knifes in right underneath him into that gap between left guard and left tackle. Look at that. Look at Roll right underneath, and he chases Garrard right into Justin Tuck. Look at Umenyiora get upfield, and then Roll takes 2 steps upfield, loops underneath, and Justin Tuck has David Garrard come right towards him. But Antrell Roll, that was a slick little maneuver on his part to hide behind Umenyiora and then knife in underneath.
Was that guy Wimper on the left side that they victimized there, the ex-New York Giant?
Well, he's doing his job. He's blocking. He's trying to block Umenyiora. There's a free runner there with Antrell Roll on the safety blitz. Give Perry Fuel a lot of credit. That was nicely designed.
Guy Wimper spent the first 4 seasons of his NFL career with the New York Giants. Starting today at left tackle in place of injured Eugene Monroe. 2nd and 21.
Been with Jacksonville less than a month.
Garrard lost the ball. Dropped at the 44. And Jacksonville has to burn another timeout.
You can see it's max protection. Jacksonville keeping people in there, but number 90, Jason Pierre-Paul, he slapped the ball away from David Garrard. Again, we talked about those long arms, and he got his left hand on the left arm of David Garrard, enough to knock the football loose.
The 3rd sack of David Garrard today.
Boy,
and Jacksonville down to 1 timeout and 1:34 on the clock.
It's a real luxury, Greg, when you're a defensive end and you can be that far from the quarterback and still get your hand on his arm.
3rd and a long ways to go for a first down. Garrard had it hit, knocked out, picked up by the Giants. Antrell Roll ends up with the football, and the Giants are going to win this one.
David Garrard looks like he's a little bit hurt. He's grimacing as he walks over towards the Jacksonville bench. He can't find anybody. He's sitting there, and it looked like the football, did it get knocked out, or did he just lose it on the way up?
I think Terrell Thomas knocked it out, and Antrell Roll picked it up. Here comes Thomas, 24.
Yes, he did. He got his hand on it. And again, lots of secondary people back there on David Garrard, but initially he couldn't find, he had time to throw the football. He had time to set up, plant his feet. He just couldn't find anybody open.
Bradshaw down at the 36, and Jacksonville will use its third and final timeout to bring the clock to a stop at minute 19 to play. I want to remind you, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS featuring regional action. These Jaguars will tangle with Chris Johnson and the Titans. Dan and I will be in Miami as the Dolphins host the Cleveland Browns. Jason Campbell and the Raiders against Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Check your local listings. It all begins with the NFL today. More people watch the NFL on CBS this season than any other network.
Well, the one thing about the Giants defensively, they may have slumbered in the first half, but they woke up in the second half. I'm not sure what Tom Coughlin said, what Perry Field said, but they came alive in the second half.
How about the fact that Tom Coughlin is able to point to say no turnovers today?
Yeah.
Eli Manning takes a knee. Jacksonville can't stop the clock. The executive producer of the NFL on CBS is Sean McManus. The vice president of production of CBS Sports is Harold Bryant. The producer of today's game, Mark Wolf. Today's game directed by Bob Fishman. The senior producer of CBS Sports in the NFL today is Eric Mann, and the director is Bob Matina. Coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS, Lance Barrow. The coordinating producer of CBS Sports, Steve Karasik. The associate directors of today's game, Ryan Galvin and Brian Sealing. Our broadcast associates, Brian Jagoda and Jason Miller. Our technical manager is Dennis Stone. Technical director Mike Taffy and the audio supervisor Kevin Little. And our stats are provided by Joe Castellano, Andy Lefusnik, and our spotter Mike Gluck.
At that point, Greg, Jacksonville had 236 yards in the first half and held under 100 in the second half to just 91.
The Giants outscored Jacksonville 15-3 here in the fourth quarter, 18-3 in the second half. And they put the clamps on a victory that snaps a two-game losing streak, and as Tom Coughlin told us yesterday, helps them keep pace.
Well, he realizes that Philadelphia is in the front of this division, but again, he realized a loss would have made it not impossible, but a real uphill struggle to make the playoffs.
Final score 24-20. Giants. For Dan Deerdorf and the rest of our crew, Greg Gumbel. So long from the Meadowlands. We'll send you to James Brown in New York for the Subway postgame show after this. You have been watching the NFL on CBS.